Hi, this is Elizabeth. Welcome to my channel. I'm sitting here in my new house, haven't got fully moved in yet, waiting for the cable guy to finish his work, and it's been quite a handful for him, especially since it's also raining right now. I'm also waiting for my washer and dryer to be delivered, so I thought, you know what? I look like hell because I've been very sick and trying to get all this stuff moved. But you know what? I'm coming on anyway. You'll just have to put up with this ugly mug, or you can just shut me off. But I hope you stay around. I wanted to give you my house story, which in itself is not really about the house, but how it came to be that I have this house. I guess we could call it a semi-inspirational and very cautionary tale. So stay tuned. Once upon a time, there was a young woman in her 20s who just wanted to have a good time. She worked hard and she played hard. And then she turned 29. She knew she didn't want to buy a home, but she knew she wanted to save for one in the future. So me, met with a certified financial planner and set up a plan to buy a house by the time she was 40. But that's not what happened. Want to hear the rest of the tale? You sure? So instead of getting a house at 40, I've got one now at 50. And I tell you, I am so glad I waited for the right time and the right house. But there were other things along the way that I wanted to share. Because I think a lot of people get caught up in wanting to have the so-called American dream, or, people are pressured to own homes. I've worked in financial industry for a very long time, and even worked in the secondary mortgage industry for a long time. And I know what pressures there are for people to own a home. And I received so much pressure. People are like, oh, you should buy a house, blah, 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 you're wasting your money, blah, blah, blah. So why did I wait so long? I waited because I wanted to have a great life. I didn't want to be house poor, and I also still wanted to live a generous life. And I don't just mean by money, but I wanted to have time and to do the things like volunteer and also donate money, but things that I might not have had if I was, busy taking care of a home. Now, that's not to say that people who have all those things have a home and can't do those things. I just knew, knowing the lifestyle that I was leading at the time and wanted to lead, that would not allow for me to have the time to spend on a home. Oh yeah, and then there was also the financial mistakes I made, which is why I want to talk about this while I'm in the closet, because it's the stuff that we don't like to talk about. So, I went back to college in my 30s, took out a student loan. Very glad for the education I got, but I should have just went to a state school and not have paid as much money as I did, and still am. So this is part of the cautionary tale. I also, and this is something I do not regret, and he's well aware of it, but my sister became very ill about 11 years ago, and her son moved in with me because he was still a young teenager, and I was financially responsible for him for many years, and I didn't ask for any assistance. I didn't take any tax credits. I didn't do any of that. Looking back, I probably should have for financial reasons, but I don't regret that. But it was, expensive, and also part of this cautionary tale portion of this. And then I made the worst error of For some reason, because I consider myself to be reasonably intelligent, I thought I could do my own taxes. And a few years, I received some stock options from my company. And those few years, I made an error in how I put them on the taxes. I just put the wrong codes or whatever. And then I got a letter from the good old Internal Revenue Service, the IRS. And all of that, it just ended up being a horrible thing where I ended up owing a lot of money. And got ripped off by a so-called tax attorney. Thankfully, I only lost $750 in that. So, it took me several years to pay that tax bill. And in fact, I just finished it in February or March of this year, of 2015. I think it was 5 or 6 years. So that was a lot of money. So that, again, part of the cautionary tale. Don't do your own taxes. If you have some complicated stuff, pay, or else you will pay. And I did. So now I'm out of the closet with my bad financial secrets, and I'm into the light. How do you like that swath of light behind me on this cloudy day? We just had some rain. So what were the good things that happened during those years? Because there was a lot. Even though there was a lot of financial struggles, I still was able to live a generous life, both financially and with my time. And I also did a lot of traveling and got to experience some wonderful things, which I will share in other videos. And of course, the best gift of all was having Isaac and having the opportunity to raise a child or a young man. And I've lived the life I wanted. I lived greatly and lived generously, which brings us now to this house. So I wanted to, at one point, buy myself a small oceanfront condo somewhere, and I was hoping I'd have enough cash to do that. Well, then here along came Isaac. So then I thought, well, I'll get, a small condo for the two of us. Well, then my parents' health issues, it made it, it's not impossible, but it's difficult for them to live on their own. And so we merged households, and we didn't buy a place because we wanted to see if we could handle living together after not living together for so many years. That's worked out for the most part. And then it came to look for a house that met our needs. And I wanted a place that, Isaac could still live in, and because he has a business, but, he's not at this stage where, he could afford something super expensive. And I do need him on site also to help with my parents. It's very helpful for me as I telecommute from home, and so I'm not always available to assist my parents when they need it. So we needed a house that we wanted something that had a little extra house on the side or an extra room so that he was on his own. I needed somewhere where if it was a 2-story home, it had a first floor bathroom and bedroom for my parents. And then I also needed room for me to have an office, etc. So we went a-looking. We've been looking for several years. And everything was either way too expensive or didn't meet our needs. We'd have to do a lot of work to make it work for us. Or if it would work for us, it was really junky and gross. It wasn't what we're going to do. So this house that we have now was one that when these were being built, I drove by and I loved the style. And I have driven by these houses for all these years, and I always say, oh, I love those houses. The thought that I would ever get the chance to own one, it still hasn't sunk in on me yet. So now, that wasn't the house that yes, I love the style, but it wasn't what I intended to get. But I got the house I needed, and I think it's better than an oceanfront condo anyway. I really love it here. I'm enjoying it. It's a neighborhood I love. I can walk to everything, which is what I also enjoy. And there's lots of services available for my parents nearby. It's just all around a great thing for our family. So that is the story of this house and the financial cautionary tales that went along with it. Thanks for watching, and remember until next time to always live greatly and live generously. Bye for now.